Now at 9, Southeast Kansas get a chance to show their support for Republican candidates. Plus, an area art gallery hosted a class to teach artists how to use watercolor. And the latest on the deadly flooding in Kentucky.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks. Today, political candidates of the Republican Party host a Freedom Rally in Lincoln Park in Pittsburgh. The goal is to express their views for the people of Southeast Kansas. The event also gave the candidates a chance to meet their supporters and listen to their expectations.
More involved, because I think too many people are just not getting involved, and that's why a lot of things go the way sometimes we don't want it to go. But I think it was very beneficial. We really heard some good points, and it helped me to understand what the candidates or what their side of the things are, and especially the education part, because I'm really concerned for our education.
Along with free drinks and live music was performed by the Matt Klepper Band. The event was open to all Republican voters or anyone who wanted to hear from Republican candidates. The Art Forms Gallery greeted people today at their watercolor paint class. The class was held to teach basic techniques on watercolor. The students made greeting cards with floral prints. Ages 12 and up were able to attend, and after the class was over, the students took their creations home.
The main thing is for them to have fun and kind of get some exposure to watercolor. There's a whole bunch of fun techniques that produce really different kind of results. So it's just, I want them to have fun. I want them to have something to show when they get done.
To find more events coming to Art Forms Gallery, you can visit our website at koamnewsnow.com/events. And now Sam Lane joins us for our first look at weather.
Thanks, Jalen. It was a beautiful day across the 4 states. A little bit of rain this morning, but that has now since cleared out. Instead, we have just a few high clouds way off in the distance from our tower cam, but it was not too bad of a day. Temperature this afternoon made it up to 90 degrees, which was 1 degree below the normal, but the low was 1 degree above, so it all evened out. And of course, we weren't anywhere close to that nasty record of 104 back in the dreadful summer of 1980. Radar all clear right now. The showers that were here this morning have now moved down into northeastern Arkansas. On live radar, you can see just a few scattered showers near Batesville, and that is about it. And unfortunately, the drought has been helped a little bit, but we're still in an extreme drought in southeast Oklahoma, northeast Oklahoma, southwest Missouri, and southeastern Kansas for a little bit longer. The big question is, how much longer is this drought going to hang around? I'll have the answer coming right up.
Missouri Governor Mike Parson announced today that FEMA will participate in a joint preliminary damage assessment in St. Louis and surrounding counties in response to record flash flooding in the area. He says they are confident FEMA's participation in the PDAs will confirm the need for a federal major disaster declaration. On Tuesday, Missouri issued Executive Order 2205 in response to the severe flooding. The order declared a state of emergency in Missouri and activated the Missouri State Emergency Operations Plan. They expect FEMA to assist starting tomorrow. At least 28 people have died from devastating floods in eastern Kentucky, according to an update from the state's governor. And today, he says rescue operations for the missing could last several weeks, where heavy rain is expected in the forecast for the Midwest. Fox Weather's Nicole Valdez has the latest.
President Biden declaring a federal disaster in Kentucky as the governor warns that the death toll will likely rise in the coming days.
We don't see losing that many people in floods. The level of devastation is really unprecedented, and it's going to take us a long time to rebuild.
Dozens are still unaccounted for as rescue crews race against the clock to reach the hardest hit areas before the rain returns. In communities across eastern Kentucky, flash flooding swept buildings off their foundations and put entire towns underwater. The rain coming down so quickly, people had so little time to react.
I said, well, my house will be okay. By the time my house come out, it took about 5 minutes for that to happen, 5 to 6 minutes, and it was gone.
One point we looked out the front door, and mine and his cars was playing bumper cars, like bumper boats in the middle of our front yard.
Thousands are still without power or access to clean water. Residents are returning to what's left of their homes and salvaging whatever they can.
We'll be thankful that we still have one another because there was several families that wasn't that fortunate. Just, try to keep the back of your mind that it could have always been worse.
And more rain could be on the way for this area Sunday and Monday, which of course means the added risk for more flash flooding in these already devastated communities. In Hyman, Kentucky, I'm Nicole Valdez, Fox Weather.
There are two new causes of concern for the White House. President Biden testing positive again for COVID, and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's trip to Asia, and China's threat to down the speaker's plane should she travel to Taiwan. Speaker Pelosi tweeted overnight that she'll visit Singapore, Malaysia, South Korea, and Japan. No mention of a possible trip to Taiwan, which sparked the ominous warnings from Beijing. Reporter Griff Jenkins is at the White House with the latest.
President Biden is monitoring Speaker Pelosi's overseas trip while isolating in the residence here at the White House, with his doctor, Kevin O'Connor, releasing a new letter saying that the president is feeling well and maintaining strict isolation measures, adding, quote, "The president continues to be very specifically conscientious to protect any of the executive residence, White House, Secret Service, and other staff whose duties require any, albeit socially distanced, proximity to him." The White House also saying the president had 6 close contacts and none have tested positive. This comes as tensions are rising with China, with all eyes on a possible Pelosi stop in Taiwan, which is located right between the announced stops of Singapore and Malaysia and South Korea and Japan. But no Taiwan visit officially exists on her schedule, yet the prospect of it drawing criticism from Republicans.
I don't know why Speaker Pelosi signaled her trip to Taiwan so far in advance to give the Chinese an opportunity to respond this way. It's outrageous that China would start threatening America just because the Speaker of the House and delegation would visit Taiwan. I don't think she can back down, because that just gives China, even more cause to continue their aggressive behavior.
Meanwhile, the USS Ronald Reagan and its strike group has moved into the South China Sea, with the Pentagon not commenting on ship movements. The administration has not explicitly advised Pelosi against a Taiwan stop, but they are reassuring Beijing that the administration's One China policy has not changed in any way. At the White House, Griff Jenkins, Fox News.
We now take this time to honor one of our many four-state heroes. Greg Beckner has served in the U.S. Army since 2005. His hometown, Goodman, Missouri. We're proud to salute Greg Beckner, a four-state hero. To learn about other heroes or submit a hero of your own anytime, just go to our website at koamnewsnow.com. And next, the latest on civil unrest in Iraq and the country's leaders' response. Unrest continues in Iraq as protesters push the country's leaders to form a coalition government nearly a year after the last elections. Reporter Trey Yingst has an update from Jerusalem.
That's right, this weekend hundreds of protesters stormed the Iraqi parliament amid growing unrest in Baghdad. The supporters of cleric Muqtada al-Sadr are staging a sit-in to demonstrate against corruption and outside influence in Iraq. Iraq remains without a president or prime minister, and it's been almost 10 months since the October elections that promised a new start for the Iraqi people. Politicians are yet to form a coalition government around the results as civilians get impatient.
Our demands are simple: ending corruption from its roots, ending class differences created by people who came from abroad. We will not retreat until we end corruption. We will not retreat until we achieve our demands.
Last week, a similar group of demonstrators stormed the parliament and Baghdad's Green Zone. They carried the same message, calling for an end to outside influence, specifically that of Iran. Iranian influence has greatly affected the Iraqi people, and these protesters stand firm in opposition to an Iranian-backed Shia bloc that could decide the next Iraqi leadership. Caretaker Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kadhimi is urging calm amid concerns that the demonstrations could escalate into heavier clashes.
It is a very difficult time. It is the bitter truth, unfortunately. We all have to cooperate and stand together so we do not push ourselves into the abyss. We have to judge by our minds, our consciousness, and our sentiments, and stick to Iraq and the Iraqis, not petty interests.
The uncertainty for the Iraqi people comes as 2,500 American troops remain in country assisting in the fight against ISIS. In Jerusalem, Trey Yingst, Fox News.
Sam Lane is up next with a full look at our forecast and also a look at a high-profile murder mystery and new ways they're using to help solve it.
Well, it turned out to be not too bad of a weekend across the 4 states. A little bit of rainfall, cooler temperatures, and we certainly deserved it after the heat wave that we went through over this last month, and we'll get to that in just a second. But right now, this evening, it's very pleasant out there, including Seneca, Missouri, with just a few clouds out there at the Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Hope you're enjoying your evening out there. Speaking of enjoying the weather, let's talk a little bit about July. And of course, this is the last day of the month, but look at all the days last month that we were above normal. 25 of them, only 2 were normal and 4 were below normal, including yesterday and today. And so if you're wondering, where does this set us as far as the month of July in total? Well, the hottest July in Joplin history was way back in 1954. The second hottest was 1980. The third and the fourth was those dreadful summers of 2011 and 2012. Well, this month we have finished out with an average high of 97.8, 73.6 for the low, with an average temperature of 85.7. And that means we ended up being the fifth hottest July in Joplin history. So those are not the kind of records we like setting, or at least in my opinion. Radar this morning showed some rain down to the south in Oklahoma, producing quite a bit of precip there in Mayes County and in southern Delaware County. Also a little bit over there in southern Vernon County, but that is about it. And radar right now is pretty much clear. And the temperatures have been pretty nice over the weekend. Over the last 36 hours, we barely got up to 80 yesterday, and then today we barely touched 90. But there is some warmer weather headed on our direction. Temperatures right now are still pretty pleasant. 81 in Joplin, 82 in Pittsburgh, Iola, same thing, 83 in Yates Center, a little bit cooler down to the south for our friends in Jay. Let's take a look at the dew points because they've been up there too, and as a result it's making it feel a little bit more muggy out there. 72 dew point in Webb City as well as Neosho, and those dew points are going to start coming down just a little bit, but right now we're in the muggy range, so if you're heading out this evening, just be aware of that. Right now in range line, we're looking at 81 degrees, south wind at 7 miles per hour. Feels like 85, and that's again because the dew point is up there at 72 degrees and the pressure is currently falling. Radar, like I said, is clear right now. All the showers have moved off towards the east, just a few lingering in northeastern Arkansas, and that is about it. Now tonight, we're expecting partly cloudy skies with lows in the mid-70s, around 80 degrees by your 9 o'clock hour with that warm front moving to the north. And then by tomorrow afternoon, we're going to be seeing temperatures warming once again into the 90s. And then as we head into Tuesday, mid-70s for your lows. And then in the afternoon, we're going to be seeing temperatures once again in the low to mid-90s across the area. And then as we head over the next 7 days, we're going to see the warm air come back. And we're going to see temperatures rising close to 100 degrees once again, Jalen, unfortunately on Wednesday. But there is a chance of storms as we head into Thursday. And I'm trying my best to keep it below 100 degrees, but you know, we've got a whole month of August yet to go.
Seeing triple digits.
That's what we're hoping for.
And the 5th hottest month. All
Yep.
right. Well, thank you, Sam. Now to a high-profile murder mystery that remains unsolved after more than 25 years. 6-year-old beauty pageant queen JonBenet Ramsey was found murdered in her home in Boulder, Colorado, the day after Christmas in 1996. Reporter Laura Engel has an exclusive interview with her father, John Ramsey, on his hope on finding his daughter's killer by using advances in DNA technology.
The case of JonBenet Ramsey continues to be one of the most high-profile murder mysteries in the nation, and one that still has her family seeking justice and pushing investigators, DNA experts, and government officials to come together and use cutting-edge DNA technology to find answers in this case.
There's evidence that's never been tested for DNA, has never been sampled for DNA. and the latest technology needs to be employed.
The frustration of searching for his daughter's killer is still painful for John Ramsey, who tells me he is preparing to submit a petition with over 17,000 signatures to Colorado Governor Jared Polis next week to put DNA testing decisions in the hands of a new agency outside the Boulder Police Department.
The latest technology exists in the Parabon labs and the Othram's and those really cutting edge laboratories that are using state-of-the-art techniques to analyze DNA samples. That's where this needs to go.
If government officials do not respond after the petition is submitted, Ramsey says he will absolutely seek legal action. Investigative genetic genealogy could be the answer to finally solving this decades-old case that has haunted the family of JonBenet Ramsey, who was just 6 years old when she was found murdered inside her family's Boulder, Colorado home the day after Christmas in 1996.
That means that we can detect DNA on things that they never would have imagined. Touch DNA, saliva that was not found previously. So there are new technologies that are able to extract out that DNA from clothing, from rope, from many different types of material that just didn't exist before.
Genetic genealogist CeCe Moore telling Fox this week she thinks the case could be solved within hours under certain circumstances if the Boulder police would allow labs like hers to have access to the DNA in the case. It could help track down a family member of a suspect, and that could lead investigators to her killer.
We've been doing this the last 4 years. We've been able to help solve, on average, 1 crime per week using this technology.
JonBenet's family says they hope keeping the pressure on will bring them the same results.
We're not going to let this case end up in a dusty file cabinet in the Boulder Police Department. That's not acceptable.
The Boulder police telling Fox this is still an active and ongoing investigation, and the department meets with multiple entities on a regular basis, including private labs and the FBI. A spokesperson for the Colorado Governor's Office said they have no update at this time. In New York, Laura Engel, Fox News.
Next, a New Jersey councilwoman is being asked to step down after an alleged hit and run. A New Jersey councilwoman says that she will not resign after the release of a video showing her allegedly hitting a cyclist as she drove down a city street, blasting right through the scene. We want to warn you, some viewers may find the video disturbing. Reporter Nate Foy is in New York with that story.
A spokesperson for Amy DeGise tells Fox News she does not plan on stepping down despite thousands of people calling on her to do so. I want to show you what police saw as they arrived moments after impact. Take a look at this police body cam video. You see the bike rider here moments after he was hit. Police say he told them his ankle and leg were in pain, but remarkably, he's in decent shape. Take a listen to his account of what happened.
I came down this street.
You're coming this way?
And they just drove through a red light.
Okay.
So I was going, and then I get hit, and he just drives away.
So police do say the driver actually had the green light. The biker was mistaken there, but much more problematic, the driver did not stop. Now, the biker did not get the plate number, but police used surveillance cameras to track it down. Police say that car is registered to Councilwoman DeGise. And police say 2 summons were issued for leaving the scene of an accident and failing to report it. Today, a Change.org petition is growing because of this. Over 3,000 people are calling on DeGise to step down. It claims that she puts her own ambitions over the well-being of residents, and it calls on other council members to publicly support her resignation. As for DeGise herself, her spokesperson sent Fox News this. It reads, quote, Amy recognizes the calls that have been made for additional information and transparency. She would very much like to address this situation more comprehensively, but there is a legal process that must play out first. That statement says DeGise will in fact talk about this when the legal process is over, and it also reiterates that she is very thankful no one is seriously hurt. Reporting in New York, Nate Foy, Fox News.
And coming up, the friend of tortilla chips and toast has a day to itself.
A flood.
If you're going green, then today's your day to go green with a green healthy food. Today is National Avocado Day, and it's worth celebrating because of the health benefits of avocados. Avocados have heart-healthy fats and target insulin resistance. They help battle Alzheimer's with omega-3 fatty acids and have vitamins C, E, and K. Americans are onto them. Avocado consumption has doubled since 2000. So you can go ahead and dip into places touting avocados that have deals with free guacamole. Coming up, some music lovers in Joplin gather to see local musicians perform. Plus, area kids are beating the heat with a splash. Now at 9, a Joplin coffee shop hosts the Joplin Arts District Concert Series. Plus, a local church ends the summer with a splash. And we take a look at the legacy of the NBA legend Bill Russell.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
There's no better way to enjoy the summer rather than having drinks and a chance to listen to music. Tonight, Joplin Avenue Coffee hosted the Joplin Arts District Concert Series. The event gives area music lovers a chance to discover new artists while listening to ones that they already may love.
And so as we come slowly emerge out of the pandemic, having art to come out and experience and enjoy together as a community and is a wonderful and therapeutic.
Musicians at the event included Vagabond Grove, Tough Luck Chuck, and Don Hobby Sticklet. The Central Christian Center is closing out the summer and prepping for the school year with their Big Splash Day. The church and along with community members are enjoying the last days of summer with some water activities. This event is for fellowship and giving kids the chance to interact outside of a normal setting.
Big Splash Sunday, the kids are all excited about it. A couple kids showed up last week in their swimsuits. They were so excited to come, so we're like, okay, just remember to pack it for next week.
Central Christian Center is located at 410 Virginia Avenue in downtown Joplin. And now Sam Lane joins us with another look at the weather.
And it was a perfect day to enjoy the splash outside. And we've had warm temperatures starting to return back into our area. But today, at least, we were right on target as far as normal. 90 degrees for the high, which was 1 degree below normal, but the low was 1 degree above with 71 and normally a 70. So it all evened out this afternoon. And radar right now is showing all clear across our area. Most of the rain has now moved off into southeastern Missouri and north central Arkansas. Now we're starting to pick up some moisture in the air with some of the radar returns. And right now on live radar, you can see just a few showers here just to the north of Lick Mountain and also to the east of Batesville. And that's about it. We are hoping for a dent in the drought, and it is continuing right now in the extreme category for southeast Kansas, southwest Missouri, and northeastern Oklahoma. There are some rain chances in our forecast, and I'll be back to tell you all about that coming up in just a few.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has officially designated the U.S. as Russia's top rival. Meantime, as Russia gains ground in eastern Ukraine, President Vladimir Zelensky is warning people in eastern Donetsk region to evacuate. Reporter Alex Hogan is in Ukraine's capital with the latest.
During the country's Navy parade in St. Petersburg, Russian President Vladimir Putin signed a declaration calling the U.S. one of its greatest rivals. At that celebration, Putin met with his Navy's top brass and touted the country would soon have a new hypersonic missile that it's been testing. Here in Ukraine, as Russian forces make new gains in the east, President Volodymyr Zelensky calling for a mandatory evacuation of the Donetsk region. Tonight, he urged his country not to give up.
We have to hold on in the south, in the east, and everywhere. We have to hold on in defense, diplomacy, and politics to preserve our unity.
In Odessa, ships full of grain remain docked. Grain shortages have already triggered a global food crisis. Now today, Zelensky says the country will likely only collect half of its usual harvest because of the war. To the east, farmers in the fields of Zaporizhia are harvesting their grain in self-made flak jackets as missiles soar overhead. Half of the region is currently occupied territory. And over in Kharkiv, brittle fields near the front lines are on fire from Russian shelling. Ukrainian service members condemning these attacks.
Russia and Russian forces are to blame for the food crisis. They destroy our warehouses, our crops, our fields, our food, our animals. They destroy everything.
Russia overnight unleashing heavy bombardment in the southern city of Mykolaiv. The mayor there says that this was the most intense attack since the start of the war. In Kyiv, Ukraine, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
Coming up, we mourn the loss of a TV star icon and remember the life of NBA legend Bill Russell. Nichelle Nichols, the trailblazing actress known for her role as Lieutenant Nyota Uhura on the original Star Trek, has died. Her son, Kyle Johnson, making the announcement today on her Facebook page. According to Johnson, his mother succumbed to natural causes and passed away. Nichols was one of the first black women to ever play a main cast role on the television series. Her kiss with William Shatner is believed to be the first interracial kiss on American television. Nichols spent her last years promoting NASA and recruiting more women and minorities, including Sally Ride, the first American female astronaut. Nichols was 89 years young. The sports world is mourning the passing of NBA legend Bill Russell. The dominant center and 12-time All-Star led the Boston Celtics during an unparalleled dynasty run of 11 NBA championships in the 50s and 60s, and was an outspoken civil rights advocate throughout his career. Reporter Charles Watson shows us a look back at Bill Russell's incredible legacy.
The news of the passing of NBA legend Bill Russell is certainly sending shockwaves through the world of sports and beyond as folks just try to wrap their heads around such a huge loss. A message posted to Russell's Twitter earlier today said he passed away peacefully with his wife Janine by his side. Since tributes for the Boston Celtics great and NBA Hall of Famer have poured in from high-profile figures, including former presidents and fellow basketball legends such as Magic Johnson, who called Russell's death a tremendous loss for the entire basketball world. Johnson said, quote, "Russell was my idol. I looked up to him on the court and off. His success on the court was undeniable. He was dominant and great, winning 11 NBA championships off the court. Bill Russell paved the way for guys like me." In a statement, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver called Russell, quote, "the ultimate winner and consummate teammate whose impact on the NBA will be felt forever." And President Obama said in part in a statement of his own, "Today we lost a giant. Russell was the greatest champion in basketball history. Off the court, he was a civil rights trailblazer." Russell was widely considered the greatest champion in all of sports. His list of accomplishments are vast, winning 11 championships and 5 MVP awards in his 13-year career with the Boston Celtics. Born on February 12, 1934, Russell grew up in heavily segregated Louisiana. Memories of seeing his parents discriminated against would stick with him through his adult life as he battled racism in basketball and America. In Boston, a city where he was not embraced in the same way as white players, he spoke up often about the treatment of black players and was front and center at the height of the civil rights movement, marching with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and standing alongside boxing great Muhammad Ali. And it was that display of courage that led President Obama to award Russell the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2011. Bill Russell was 88 years old. In Atlanta, Charles Watson, Fox News.
And up next, Sam Lane returns with a look at the weather. And later, Danny Terzer gives us a look at what's going on in sports.
Be sure and drop.
I hope you had a chance to get out and enjoy this weekend. It wasn't too bad temperature-wise, and we even got a little bit of rain thrown in there too, which I know the farmers are really happy about, as well as everyone else. Right now, we're looking at our sky cam down at Seneca, Missouri with Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. A pleasant evening out there. Just a few clouds earlier, but no precipitation at this point in time. Let's take a look at the month of July, as this is the last day of the month, and we had 4 days this month only that were below normal, 2 were normal, and everything else was above normal, including that 107 back on the 26th. And if you look back at the month of July, the hottest we've ever had in Joplin was back in 1954, But 1980 wasn't too far behind, as well as 2011 and 2012, and those were pretty hot summers as well. So for the month of July here in Joplin, we finished out at 97.8 for the high, 73.6 for the low, and that averaged out to 85.7, which means July of 2022 will go down as the 5th hottest July in Joplin history, and those records go all the way back to the early 1900s. So it was certainly a toasty month. Hopefully August will not be like that, but you know, we'll never know around here. All right, let's take a look at the rainfall. You can see that last night we had some storms down in northeastern Oklahoma as expected. Those moved into northwest Arkansas. Another little strip just south and east of Nevada, extending on over there to the northeast of Springfield, but not everyone got precipitation this morning. Temperatures are still pleasant though right now. We're sitting at 81 degrees, 79 in Iola, 82 over in Neodesha, 80 down in Nowata, a little bit cooler down in Jay, where it's currently sitting at 77 degrees. Now, when you look at the dew points, they're up there, generally in the low to mid 70s right now, so it's making it feel a little bit muggy out there, and we're going to start to see these dew points drop just a little bit as we head towards the middle part of the week, and that means the heat is going to be allowed to build back in. But right now, let's enjoy the nice weather. 81 in Joplin right now, feels like 85. That's because the dew point is 72 with a humidity of 74% and the pressure is currently falling. Satellite review shows mostly fair skies across all the area today, just a few clouds now in our area. The showers have also gone as well, maybe a few here near Clinton down towards Russellville, and that is about it. Let's look at the forecast for tonight. Partly cloudy skies with temperatures dropping into the mid 70s, and by tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock we'll be around 80 degrees. Notice the south winds coming back, and that means the heat is going to start building once again, with highs generally right around 90 to 93 degrees tomorrow. And then as we go into Monday evening, pretty pleasant, once again partly cloudy with lows in the upper 70s. And then Tuesday, yep, the heat gets close to 100 degrees once again. And then as we go into the next 7 days, we're looking at temperatures getting close to that century mark once again, Jalen, especially on Wednesday. But there is some hope on the horizon. A front drops down Wednesday night into Thursday, and so hopefully we'll get some rain. But we're going to stay pretty warm right on through next weekend with scattered showers mainly to the south and east.
Hopefully we get some rain, more precipitation for the area, and keep
Got our
things
fingers
rolling.
crossed.
All right, thank you, Sam. Coming up in sports, the Chiefs complete their final practice before they put on a full pads on Monday. Plus, Pittsburgh 12U prepares for a trip to the Little League Midwest Regional Tournament in Indianapolis. Danny Terzer has that and more next.
The Pittsburgh 12U team won the state tournament last weekend, topping Baxter Springs 6-0 in the championship game. Now, they've earned a spot in the Midwest Region Tournament in Indianapolis. It's the second straight year that a Pittsburgh Little League team is representing Kansas at the regional tournament. Pittsburgh is one of 8 teams competing to earn a spot in the Little League World Series. They head out on Wednesday and will play Iowa in their first game on Friday at 4 p.m.
This is the most incredible group of 12-year-old boys I've ever been around. They don't care who gets the glory. They're the most selfless kids in the world. They just want to go out and play baseball and be a team and play for each other. And they all just want to win and to do whatever it takes to win. I checked today, I think we threw 70% strikes in the state tournament, and that's huge. When you're not giving up free passes and making the other team beat you, it's really hard to get beat. I think that's going to be a huge factor.
In the MLB, the Cardinals wrap up a road series against the Nationals. Corey Dickerson extends the St. Louis lead here. 3-run home run to right, his 4th this year, makes it 4-0 Cards. Then in the 6th, Paul DeYoung smashes a solo shot 421 feet to center. It's his 2nd straight day with a homer. On the mound, Andre Palante has a career day. 8 innings, 8 strikeouts, and the win. Cards shut out the Nationals 5-0. Kansas City looking to avoid getting swept today. Scoreless in the 5th, bases loaded for Nick Prado. He gets it past the former Royal, Andrew Benintendi. 2-score, Kansas City takes the lead. Later, Royals up by 1. Anthony Rizzo crushes a 3-run home run to right. Yankees on top. But Kansas City has more fight. Hunter Dozier makes it a 1-run game with a solo home run. And in the 9th, Salvador Perez comes up huge. 2 on, he goes deep for his 13th homer of the year. Kansas City pulls out the victory 8-6. The Kansas City Chiefs have completed 4 full-team practices at training camp in St. Joe. They have the day off today before a big day on Monday. The Chiefs put on the full pads tomorrow for the first time since the AFC Championship game back in January. Here's Chiefs defensive end Frank Clark on the progress he's seen from first-round draft pick George Karlaftis.
He listens, and he wants to know. He wants to be good. He wants to figure it out. He understands, like, it's a different game. He understands a different twitch in the NFL. It's a whole different, you got to understand things. I was teaching him today. He asked the question about getting off the ball. His ability to retain the knowledge that I was telling him, and for him to go do it, and for him to feel it and see the success from it, I was happy,
That's a look at sports. We're back after this.
How much would you pay for a pickle off of a McDonald's cheeseburger? According to The Guardian, one artist is charging more than $6,000. Check out this photo of the art installation created by Matthew Griffin titled Pickle. Griffin took the pickle off of his McDonald's cheeseburger and threw it onto the ceiling of a New Zealand art exhibit. Whoever buys the sculpture won't get the actual pickle, but will instead get instructions on how to recreate the piece on their own. Griffin is also offering to sell the cheeseburger the pickle was removed from just for a few dollars extra.
Wow.
How about that?
I think I'm going to keep my money.
All right, I'm with you.
All right, let's take a look at the forecast. We do have some warm air coming back into our area on Wednesday, up to 99. Let's just call it 100. Better chance of storms on Thursday, though, and then it looks like it stays warm for the rest of the week right into next weekend. But at least we will probably stay away from the oppressive heat that we've seen earlier this summer.
All right, sounds good. Well, that's our time for now. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you right back here next time. Thanks for making us part of your night, 4 States.